Hey, 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 hey! You didn't recognize that voice, now did you? It's Deb Chandler, CEO of KickFanny.com, and I'm bringing you today the Akia Garnett Show. We are turning the tables on Akia, and I'm going to interview her because we've got all kinds of exciting news to share with our audience. Good morning, Akia.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, I had to do that. I had to do that. Hey.
Yeah,
Do it better. Just do it better. How are you this morning?
I am doing very well. Thank you so much.
And we're ready for Tuesday branding, aren't we? It's a full day of talking business.
There's no other way to start Tuesdays off, is there?
No, there's not. And we are going to start this morning with a wonderful announcement from last week, number 64 and rising. Akia was named to the top 100 marketers to follow on Twitter last week. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
64 the first time out the gate.
Hey,
not bad.
And 64 ain't bad, Deb. I'll take it.
Yeah, well, and I want the audience to kind of grasp the levity of this, because on Twitter every month there are 271 million active users. 271. And that means those guys are out there using their accounts every day during the month. Then, every single day, over 5 million tweets get sent out. That just blows me away.
I think I'm probably responsible for at least 250 million of those.
I may be responsible for 499 million of those, because I have a hard time keeping to that 140 characters.
Well, I will tell you also that the number of actual account holders on Twitter is more than double that amount of monthly users. There are somewhere around 685 million account holders across the world. And so, that's, to put it in perspective, that's 2 times the U.S. population. So
being named to the top 100 marketers to follow on Twitter is not a bad place to be, is it, Akia?
It really isn't, and it's wonderful when these sorts of things come out, because number one, you're not expecting them. I'm just doing my work. I'm just doing my job. I'm just being true to my mission in business and in life. And it's great to just be among those who are also making and creating waves in the industry.
Share with us how this list is compiled, would you?
Well, sure. This is a third-party list. It's done, created by Evan Carmichael. You can see the list on evancarmichael.com. He's out there, and he does these lists, and they're based on retweets and original tweets. So it's the number of retweets for each account, and there's more weight toward the newest retweets. And so, as you might imagine, a retweet carries a lot of weight, because, of course, it's going out to the retweeters' audience, their followers, and then any additional impacts can be created by more retweets and more visibility on the actual tweet that originated from the original account holder. So,
and I've had several comments over, since we've launched Kick Fanny's Big Thinking with Akia Garnett, which happens to be on at 6 o'clock this evening. I'll get that plug in.
Yeah.
Since we launched that show, I've got friends that say, "Oh my heavens, the phone blows up on Mondays through Tuesdays."
Yeah, and that's exactly, the point. The point is to get people excited about Tuesdays. One reason why I chose Tuesdays for Tuesday branding is because Tuesday is the highest productivity day, work day of the week, and people are just on this particular day, they're ready for finding out ways to increase their ability to produce. And
Yes,
so
yes.
they're able, the brain is just ready, it's open, and it's interested in receiving information. And I just love that, this is the day where we do a major download, and
Well, and
yeah,
taking a minute and talking about sharing information and building really good brands and great companies in America, I want the audience to know that you're available to do speaking engagements throughout the U.S.
absolutely.
But I will put this caveat in. I don't think, audience, that Akia really wants to go to Minneapolis in January. Maybe Miami.
Yes, maybe Miami, but even with those skywalks in Minneapolis, and that's in St. Paul and all of those great, wonderful cities in the Midwest, it's still not enough.
Maybe
It's
in the
still not
spring
enough.
you'll go out and speak in those cities.
Yeah, those I didn't find those skywalks to be terribly effective at keeping me warm. So
Well, why don't you tell them, because I know that there may be some new listeners out there, the best way to contact you, and then I'm going to turn the show back over to you, again, turning tables, and we're going to talk about a new show that we're launching.
absolutely. So, people, if you want to reach out to me, you can find me at akiagarnett.com on Twitter. I'm on Facebook at akiagarnett.com, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Instagram, Vine, all over at akiagarnett.com. You can also find out more about the products and services that I offer through Brand Builder, which is my company, at masteryourbrand.com.
And if you happen to be on kickfanny.com, you're going to be able to find her there also. So Akia Garnett is everywhere.
Well, I'm working on it, Deb. That statement is almost true. I'm working on it.
So I'm turning it back over to you. Let's talk about our surprise for the audience.
Well, I'm so excited because we are launching another production, and it's called The Washington Edge. And The Washington Edge is just going to be a real treat. It's going to be a power-packed time that we spend together every Thursday talking about business in Washington, D.C., and all the other things that are important and essential to business owners and entrepreneurs and business-minded people. And so one of the things that, I am excited about is that this whole concept of entrepreneurship and intrapreneurship continues to become well-known subjects in everyday discussion. Well, we're going to bring that over and expand upon that every week with two other amazing co-hosts for the show. And I'm going to let you, Deb, introduce both of our co-hosts and help our audience understand how they are playing critical roles in their own industries and how they're going to bring that expertise to our discussions.
Yes, and I'm excited to do that. So, first of all, Akia is going to be on the show. So, we know that. So, Akia, check. And then Chandler, the CEO of Kick Fanny, is going to be on the show. Check. And then we have two really exciting guests that are joining us. The first one is Emily Katz, and I think if the audience remembers a few months ago, you had Emily on your Akia Garnett show, and she was absolutely fabulous. Mm-hmm. But she has been, over the years, just a force of nature in Hollywood, working with all of the great stars of television and movies. And she has moved her business as a makeup artist and image strategist to a whole another level, as they say. And she's back on the East Coast here in Washington, D.C. now, and she is working with corporate image. And this is extremely important out there because if a company has something occur as far as a crisis and they have to put somebody out in front of the cameras or out in front of a board, they need to be prepared. And so often They just frankly are not. And so Emily brings so much to the table when it comes to how you present your company, and that first few seconds when people make critical decisions about what you're offering and what you're saying. So we're so happy to have her. And then our trump card is Julie Jacopek with iLead Strategies. So Julie has a whole niche that's wonderful, and it's very much, she says, I was talking to her yesterday, and she said one of her clients calls her Olivia.
Yeah.
We won't allude to what television program that is, but that's kind of what Julie does on a daily basis. She's kind of that upper-level CEO, politician coach to help them decide where they're going, how they're going to get there, clean up any messes that they may have caused for themselves. And she has got such insight. So between Emily with EK Truth and Julie Jacopek with iLead Strategies, we have a really strong team of 4 dynamic women for Washington Edge. Don't you think, Akia?
Absolutely, I do think. And, one of the things that people may not think about on a regular basis is that when you're CEO for a company and you are the actual founder of that company, sometimes you're so steeped in the actual discipline, your discipline, you may romanticize about what it is that you do, and in your own perfect world, you'd just be able to stay in your office all day and create, or stay in your lab all day and create, but the higher you go, the greater you be, the more you begin to form those strategic alliances, and the more your company begins to get that positive press, and you get a chance to come from behind the desk as a producer and move to the front of your brand as a rainmaker. The eyes are on you, and every single thing that you do and that you say reflects your brand directly and indirectly. And so that's one of the reasons why I love this new program that Emily is going to be doing. She's got a program coming up at the Tower Club very soon, and it's called Blink. Your appearance just spoke for you. And so it's so important for us to remember that, we can't just be experienced and so very wonderful in what we do behind the desk, but we've also got to understand that relationships start in person. That first impression is very, very important. And when your brand is out there, it's looking sharp. You want to make sure that you're reinforcing everything that the public thinks or knows about the company that you've built. And Emily does such an amazing job, not just with business owners, but has been fortunate to work with some of the highest paid actresses and well-known people in Hollywood who have done some amazing things and created lots and lots of money in the entertainment industry. And so we might look at the entertainment industry and see the silver screen, but there's a lot of money that's moving back and forth, and a lot of that is taking place because people are sharp with the way that they look, the way that they sound, and the way that they represent the mission that they're all about when it comes to business and wanting to make an impact to change the world. So I'm excited.
The cool thing about both of these ladies is, Emily, for instance, I think it was last month, she was quoted in 5 different magazines.
Yeah.
That's just, that's a powerhouse in itself. Julie, of course, has been working, November 4th is kind of a, D-Day for her because she's working with some very, very high-up politicians right now who are looking to win elections. So we actually tape our first shows on the 7th, and we're very excited about it because each one of us are going to bring a whole different kind of insight to the show and to our audience coming up. and we are taking over Thursdays.
Yeah, and let me
just... After the first of the year, we're going to start with Big Thinking on Thursday also, aren't we?
Absolutely. I'm excited to be going to 5 days a week, but let me just talk a little bit about Julie, because this woman is uber smart. Okay, I can zone out sometimes and just find myself romanticizing in any sort of intellectual discussion, especially when I'm among other consultants who get that there are processes that need to be in place in order for us to create excellence. Julie, in one of her seminars that I was fortunate enough to attend, had the ability to just create a very simple approach to doing something so very complex, such as pulling off the completion of writing a book, right? It's not easy, right? Lots of people have a book in them, lots of people want to write a book, but when you tell them to sit down and start writing, it's really difficult. But she whipped through that whole concept and created something that was very, very believable, and I sat there and said, gee whiz, she is brilliant. I'm excited to be able to learn from her, and I know that what she's going to contribute to the conversation is going to be very helpful and also very practical to our listeners. And so I just had to say that about Julie, because she's just a smart woman. She gets it. She knows that people don't have a lot of time, and so she gives them bite-sized chunks of information that's practical, novel, and things that can move us to the next level easily. So it's going to be a great season, and as you said, moving Akia Garnett, the Akia Garnett Show, and also Kick Fanny's Big Thinking to 5 days a week. Well, I'm not sure about the Akia Garnett Show to 5 days a week, but to Kick Fanny's Big Thinking to 5 days a week.
With me, Akia, we'll end up doing Akia Garnett 5 days a week.
Well, I'm sure that there are some people who'd be really excited about that. I got to get some sleep somehow, Deb. So it's amazing. I'm doing exactly what I love. I want to go on record by saying that it's just such an honor and a treat and a pleasure to be in partnership with Kick Fanny. I am doing exactly what I love. This is what I was born to do. When I am on air, when I am behind the camera, in front of the camera, around the camera, anywhere around the microphone, and when I'm able to speak and lead and really break down some of the philosophies that I've had time over my life to create in my head, and then try to figure out how they can actually be applicable in the small business community, I'm most alive. And I'm so grateful.
And you're doing such a good job of that. Why don't you, I know you're really excited because you've got an amazing, amazing guest for Fanny's Big Thinking with Akia Garnett at 6 this evening. Why don't you go ahead and share with the audience who you're talking with?
First of all, I could not, summarize the work that this man has done over his career in a quick way, but I'm going to give it a shot. I am spending time with Philip Crowley, and he is most known for his work that he did as Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs and spokesman for the U.S. Department of State between 2009 and 2011. He was Under Secretary of the time, Hillary Clinton, and he was just, this person who was really involved with the whole WikiLeaks scandal and these diplomatic cables that were compromised. And so he's got some claim to fame, if you will, for some of the comments that
paper.
Yeah, for some of the,
as they say, he's got very good paper.
Yes, he does, and most known for some of the statements that he made around the Bradley, the first class Bradley, now Chelsea Manning, regarding the pretrial, and that was something that created the opportunity, if you will, for him to leave that post. And he's done so many things after that to continue the dialogue as he sees it, according to his own truth, one of the things that he's done is put out a book, The Rise of Transparency and Decline of Secrecy in the Age of Global and Social Media. And right now, he is the professor of practice and distinguished fellow at the Institute for Public Diplomacy and Global Communication at George Washington University. And so
he's teaching exactly what you guys are talking about today, which is crisis management in America.
Crisis management in America.
Bleeds over from corporation to government all the time, doesn't it?
Absolutely. We went and from this discussion, from everything from BP oil to and that Gulf spill, which is still something that gives me the shakes, to so many things around the Ebola crisis and the impacts that it has created economically. Some of the things that are not on the surface, some of the things that we may not see with the naked eye when it comes to the headlines and so forth. But these things are definitely taking place in what I like to call an undercurrent. And we talked about so many other things that have snatched the headlines in the past, these crises that have taken place not only in corporate America, but also in the public sector, local jurisdictions, state and federal agencies, and how we can work to, number one, prepare by having a programmatic approach to crisis management, but also how we can respond appropriately based on the facts of whatever is taking place, and also based upon our desire to operate in a transparent culture where information is freely given versus information being withheld. And he really just in every single way understands how companies can find a way to pivot from some of those challenges and use those challenges as launching pads to create and salvage, greater opportunities for their brand. And so it was a great conversation. I'm excited about spending the time with the Assistant Secretary of Public Affairs and spokesperson for the U.S. Department of State. It was a wonderful, wonderful conversation. I'm excited to share that with the audience.
Well, I know they're going to be just, locked into the show listening. So it's congratulations. That was a great get, and I have listened to the interview, and it's very good, Akia.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I just had so much fun. That was one of the most intellectually stimulating discussions on crisis management that I had heard in a long time. And one of the disappointments, unfortunately, was in reference to finding more current case studies of companies that actually are doing it very, very well. Some of our classic case studies on crisis management are dated, and so with all of the things that are taking place in the economy, I think that we've got to work hard to do exactly what some of those classical leaders have done, but also create new stories for our next generation of leaders, because social media has created lots of opportunities for growth, but it has also created lots of vulnerabilities for business owners. And so the sooner we can get in front of managing through any unforeseen changes in our industry, the better.
That sounds like a plan. I think it's interesting that you were able to bring him to the table and talk to him about the things, because it does start looping back to marketing, to bringing those clients in, and how critical it is, and how much time you spend getting those clients to the trough to drink and to purchase your products and stuff. And there's so many little pitfalls out there that can occur, and it's a good thing that we've got Akia Garnett and people like PJ Crowley around to help us stay focused and on the right road.
Precisely. And one of the things for folks to remember, especially when it comes to branding and crisis management, your customers actually want to continue buying from you. When it comes to consumer behavior, once we have attached ourselves to a brand, we're loyal. Yeah, there are reasons why we can move away. We can move away because your quality diminishes and your price continues to increase, or your deliverability goes down in terms of time. Those are ways that we can lose what we've built. But for the most part, if we're able to continue delivering on time and on budget and on quality, our customers, our supporters, our brand ambassadors, they want to support us. And so this when the sky does start to fall as a result of changes in your industry, then one of the things that PJ mentions is that you want to really focus and hone in on what those core competencies are that you are delivering, and keep your customers right there in that discussion with you, while you're at the same time managing the crisis and having the people that surround you help you with their own expertises manage that crisis as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And, one of the interesting things is if you just stop for a second and think who all's in the news and that they're dealing with this. It's Frontier Airlines, it's the hospital in Dallas, it's the NFL, it's
Yep.
the government.
Yep.
I mean, it's kind of crazy that every day things are moving so fast in business and in the economy in general that it's, front and center all the time when it comes to crisis management. They better have a plan in place beforehand.
Absolutely. And but when you look at what's taking place, say for instance, even in the NFL and all of the recent things that hit the surface regarding domestic violence, you saw that there was a major uproar. There were some people who just wanted to get back to the sport. So we hear this, and this is amazing that we're having this national dialogue. Can we do both? Can we have this national dialogue and get back to sports? And there are moments in any business and any industry where you've got to stop before you can continue delivering what it is that you're delivering to resolve a conflict. And he really does present some wonderful strategies for doing just that, so that we can operate with minimal interruption, but still be corporately responsible and socially responsible as well.
Well, it's going to be a great day.
Yep.
So I'm so glad that you asked me to come on with you today and talk about your top 100, being named to that top 100 list of marketers to follow on Twitter. So if you're not following her on Twitter, you best go do it right now.
Yeah, well, yep. Hop on Twitter at Akia Garnett and find me there. I'll follow you back. Find me all over social media. I will be excited to engage you in discussion. Who knows? You may be our next guest on the Akia Garnett Show, or on Kick Fanny's Big Thinking, or My Brand Chat, or iBrand Chat, or the Washington Edge, or whatever else we've got coming up that will provide even more opportunities and outlets for you to share your expertise and create large and great impacts in the industries that you serve. Thank you so much for joining us on the Akia Garnett Show. This has been a special production brought to you in cooperation with Kick Fanny and Deborah Chandler, who is the CEO for kickfanny.com. Find out more about the things that we've got coming up, show topics, information about our guests. Keep up with us. Stay up with us. We promise that we'll continue delivering good content. You just continue listening. You continue letting us know how we can do it better, how we can bring it to you faster. And we will make sure that we continue delivering on time and on purpose. Oh, yeah. The Akia Garnett Show.